Today I just want to talk about a little bit about three services that are very confusing to beginners. Yeah, and these are Cloudwatch, Cloudtrail, and AWS Config. And one of the things that I'm known for is that I'm very good with analogies. So I'm going to use a basic analogy to actually try and work out what are the difference between these three services. I'm going to make it simple and short. Should be a 3-minute video. So we have a Cloudwatch, we have Cloudtrail, and we have AWS Config. So what do? We're going to use an analogy of a car. Yeah. So there is a company car. We have a company car that is being used by the company, and people are using it. So step one, Cloudwatch. What does Cloudwatch do? We say Cloudwatch is used for tracking metrics. So if you use this car, basically Cloudwatch is used to track the state of the car. Yeah. So this company car, how are the tires? Are the tires worn out already? Is the engine in good form? Yeah. Are the brake pads actually okay? That is basically Cloudwatch. Okay, let's go to Cloudtrail. So Cloudtrail, basically Cloudtrail tracks who is using the company car. Yeah. So if you're going to drive it, they're asking who is using the company car at what time. Yeah. At 2:30 p.m. today, who actually drove the company car. So Cloudtrail is basically tracking who is using this. So it's tracking who is using that company car. You get it? And let's go to config. AWS config now basically what it tracks it. Whoever is using this company car, how exactly are they using it? Yeah. Are they driving over the speed limit? Yeah. Over the speed limit. Yeah. Are they revving the car too much? Are they revving the car to a point where the engine is flatting? Are they skidding the car? So config, basically it's like you're tracking how the user is using that particular car. So you can maybe say that if you have a monitoring system and say if the car, let's say we have a policy in the company car that the company car should not be driven for over let's say past 40 kilometers. So basically config will say if the company car is driven past 40 kilometers, it should alert somebody. Or if you use the company car at let's say over 80 kilometers per hour, you're going to track and say, okay, something needs to be alerted. So that is AWS config. So let's go back one more time. Cloudwatch, we have seen the car is being tracked, the state of the car, the tires, the state of the engines, the brake pads. So Cloudwatch basically is used to track physical metrics of your resources. So if you come into alarm, you want to create an alarm for a particular resource, something like an EC2 instance, you want to track its metrics. So if I create an alarm and I select metrics, I'm not going to do any, I'm just showing a basic thing. Then I pick, for example, I want to track, let's say, an EC2 instance, for example. So there are 57 metrics for tracking that. So let's say per instance metrics. So I want to track what kind of instance. So I want to check for read-write speeds, is CPU utilization. For example, I want to track the CPU utilization. Yeah. Then CPU utilization, then you're going to say, do I want to track the average CPU utilization, or do I want minimum CPU utilization, or something like that? And then how long should I be tracking it in a period of how long between intervals? Let's say 5 minutes, 10 seconds. Yeah. Then you come here. What do you want to do? You want to track something static, not moving, or do you want to track as an anomaly? So if something goes beyond the metrics, beyond parameters, that's when you track it. And then so you're going to say outside of threshold if you are doing anomaly detection. So if you are at static, you're going to say should it be greater than or equal to that particular static value. Yeah. And then boom, let's say static value percentage. So if it goes past 70%, for example, and then you click on next. Then from here you can create what you call a simple notification service as the next topic to actually give you, to email you in case something like that happens. Put in your email, basically, put in your email, and then you're good. Yeah, good. So the next. So basically this just shows what is going to happen. So after that you just create an alarm. So this alarm will tell you if CPU utilization goes past 60%. So you're tracking the resource, the car, how the tires are, the brake pads, everything, the ICU. Event history, Cloudtrail, we talked about you basically tracking who is using the car. So which employee is taking the car at what time. So you can see we have an event time. So start configuration or put bucket, create bucket. So this create bucket was done on November 17th at this particular time. By who? brand Kefa, I'm the one who actually did that. So I'm driving this car, I did it at this time, it is me who did it. So it's tracking API calls within AWS. Yeah, so it's tracking API calls that are being done within. So it's leaving a trail, an electronic paper trail of some kind. That is the work of Cloudtrail. Then when you go to config, is now you're configuring. So you set up a rule and say, okay, if the car is being driven past 80 kilometers per hour, there is a problem with that. Yeah, you should alert somebody. If the car in a day goes, let's say in a day the car should not do more than 100 miles or 100 kilometers, then you need to tell somebody. So for example, if you come here to the AWS managed rules, which say check whether the active access are rotated within the number of days. Yeah, so this is access key. So for example, if you create an access key and you say it should be, each access key should be rotated, let's say after 30 days. So if there is an access key that hasn't been rotated after 30 days, then what needs to happen? If you're not using the auto rotate, then you have self-managed keys that should be rotated by you. After 30 days, it will tell you, okay, this thing has not been rotated, you need to do it. Or if an S3 bucket, for example, we say all our S3 buckets need to be private, and if you want somebody to maybe get access, we can create a pre-signed URL, but we don't want to make a bucket public. So what do? You simply create a AWS config rule. It will track the usage. It will track this configuration. So if something goes beyond that parameter, then AWS config will actually show what it is, and it will alert you. So that is the difference between these three services for any newbie who is having a problem understanding them. I hope this actually does help. Otherwise, subscribe and stay for more content like this.